Nothing wrong with a little rivalry between a ball club from the Bronx and one here in Boston. And we are underway from Alumni Stadium. Fordham won the toss, elected to defer. This is Bo McCormick across the 20 and up near the 28-yard line. 21-yard return for Bo McCormick. And Dylan Lonergan and the BC offense will take the field. The redshirt sophomore won the job midway through camp. 5th starting quarterback over the past 4 years at Boston College. They hope they have finally settled on the guy this time around. Spent the past 2 seasons at Alabama where he played sparingly. He said his relationship with Bill O'Brien is the reason he landed here at BC. Handoff straight ahead to Turbo Richard, who powers forward for a gain of 3.
At Georgia and North Carolina, the 2 other programs he was considering when he entered the portal. But you mentioned that relationship that goes all the way back to when Bill O'Brien was out at Alabama. And, you know, this was a player who was a legit 2-sport athlete in high school. He was an outstanding pitcher, recruited to play baseball at Alabama as well. Once he went out to college, wound up focusing on football.
BC offense that wants to be even more multiple this season, and we'll see Lonergan throw for the first time right on the money to Reed Harris. Tackle made by Andrew Osman and a gain of 6.
Yeah, Lonergan, you obviously mentioned he's a pitcher. He's got that arm strength. He's got the ability to drive the ball deep, but you watch him on film, I think he's really his best in that short to intermediate game, really crisp passing. But I think he's got a chance to really just kind of maybe settle down this offense from a year ago, but to maybe be a little bit more consistent, put together some drives.
3rd down and 1 for the Eagles, and it's straight ahead and a first down picked up by Turbo Richard. Craig, they are awfully excited about the sophomore, 5'8" out of Charlotte, North Carolina. They say he's got an acceleration that they haven't seen here at BC in some time. Quick tempo for Lonergan and the Eagles offense, and they go back to Turbo Richard. Squirts forward to the 45-yard line for a gain of 3. Tackle made by Jalen Dawson.
I love the nickname, but you see his build, the way he runs. Diesel, almost like he should be Diesel Richard, not Turbo Richard. But yeah, because he's got that ability to, he's low to the ground. Great job producing after contact, but you're right, he's got that nice burst that when he gets some green in front of him, he can turn it into a big play.
He had a team-high 74 rushing yards against Duquesne last season, scored a touchdown in the Pinstripe Bowl as well. 2nd and 7. Lonergan flushed out of the pocket and settles for a reception near the midfield marker, a gain of 5, and he completes it to Lewis Bond, the man we talked about in the open, Craig. 75 receptions away from the all-time BC receiving record held by a guy who was drafted just a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, we had a chance to talk to Dylan yesterday and ask him to break down his receivers, and the first word that came out of his mouth with Lewis Bond was reliable. And, you know, as a quarterback, to know that you have a player like that that is going to be where he needs to be in crucial situations, consistent hands.
When you're gaining on Zay Flowers in any record book, that's a high compliment. 3rd and 2. Lonergan throws on the money again. It's complete to Bond again. And a first down for the Eagles. Ushered out of bounds by Drew Minnick. But another 3rd down conversion and a gain of 9.
Yeah, just a little out route here from Bond. And watches the way he catches a football away from his body. You want to know how you lead a Power 5 team 2 years in a row of receptions? Great mitts like that. Good route running. And the offensive line here early, they lost 3 players to the NFL. This offensive line is very early, but doing a nice job creating some running lanes and in protection.
And I love how Bond was not shy about saying, I'm the best route runner on this BC team. Lonergan will throw, man over the middle and just out of the outstretched arms of Reed Harris.
That's tough. Reed's a big target. Out of the reach. Player out of the normal BC pipeline out of Montana. Just over the middle, just a little bit too much there, but he's a player that, you know, you keep kind of waiting to break out. He shows those signs, that outstanding blend of size and speed. It's actually a high school quarterback. Continuing to make that transition to receiver, but he has a wealth of ability.
First player from the state of Montana to play on any ACC roster. 2nd and 10. Lonergan throws, passes caught across the 30 down to the 24-yard line. And that's the good-looking tight end, Jeremiah Franklin, for a gain of 18.
Yeah, Franklin, he's a big part of this offense, especially within the passing game. And it was a nice job. It was a little bit behind it, but the good concentration by Franklin to be able to adjust, pull that away from the defender, and putting together a nice opening season drive here.
Lonergan 4 of 5 passing for 37 yards here on this opening drive. A couple of third down conversions as well. Here on first down, looking for his favorite target, Bond again. Bond is helped out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. John Scott in on the coverage for a gain of 7. And again, Craig, Lonergan to Bond in early combination.
Yeah, as I mentioned at the top, you're a new quarterback in the program. You come in, you have a receiver like that. That's just proven that it almost brings a calming effect, because you know when you throw him the ball, he's going to be where he wants, where he needs to be. And early on, you can already see that connection.
The march continues for BC, 2nd down and 4. And again, they run right up the middle behind that interior of the offensive line. Eric Doherty, Dwayne Alec, Logan Taylor. And of course, the tackles, Jude Bowery, Kevin Klein, anchors of this front 5.
Now, I mean, you got to remember, you had 2 offensive linemen off of that unit a year ago, taken in the first 5 rounds. And then the third, who was an undrafted free agent. To lose 3 players to the NFL off an offensive line, I think that's a little bit of a question here for Boston College early in this season. But this is a group with a lot of experience within the program.
3rd and 2 on the 11th play of the drive. And again, it's Turbo Richard. And again, it's a first down. Tackle made by Jalen Dawson, but not before a gain of 6.
Yeah, just nifty footwork there from the sophomore, working his way in. Just watch those feet, the vision, finding creases. I think they're really excited for what he can bring to that backfield. It's actually pretty crowded. They're planning on a running back by committee group this year, but I think early on this year, Turbo is going to be the tip of the spear for that group.
Massive size advantage for the BC front against the Fordham defensive front, but that time, great penetration by Jalen Dawson, and nothing doing for the Eagles.
And Kev, Boston College kind of working their way down the field, but you see number 32, Dawson, he just gets a clear running lane, gets downhill, makes that tackle.
Dawson made an immediate impact as a freshman. He started 7 of 11 games last season. An engineering physics major at Fordham. A sense of the IQ. 2nd down and goal for the Eagles on this opening drive. Lonergan will throw, has a man inside the 5, and a touchdown. Jordan McDonald out of the backfield. First touchdown strike of the year from Dylan Lonergan, and the Eagles take a 6-0 lead.
And there's another part of that running back by committee, but McDonald actually using his hands just out of the backfield. Little in route there. Turbo Richard uses legs to help get him down the field. They rotate in McDonald, a transfer last season from Central Florida.
Luca Lombardo won the kicking job in camp. The extra point is up and good. 3 third down conversions by Dylan Lonergan and the BC offense on the opening drive, resulting in
straight ahead for the offense on that opening drive. It's the way you want to start a season.
13-play, 71-yard drive leading to a touchdown. Luca Lombardo will kick off. Johan Lee Lewis back receiving in his own end zone, and he's going to bring this one out. Lee Lewis is about to make a bad decision here. Stays on his feet, though, crosses the 10, out across the 20, and I take that back, bottled up inside the 10, but he spills free to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, I didn't see who it was, Kevin, but there was somebody who went for the strip instead of the tackle, and that allowed him. He's going to work upfield. It looks like he's going to be down. You see number 3, Tucker? He tried to strip the football instead of securing the tackle, and that allowed him a chance to break free and get that extra yardage. You got to remember, there's no preseason football in college. A lot of teams don't do live special teams, and it could always be a dicey proposition earlier in the year how special teams look.
So Fordham from their own 36-yard line, and Gunnar Smith will throw on first down, has a man complete along the far sideline for a big-time gain. Ricky Gonzalez hauls it in. A 19-yard gain on first down. Gunnar Smith, the UCF transfer by way of Highland Community College. He was actually at USF before that. They are excited about the junior transfer. He's going to tuck it and run. A 9-yard pickup. Davion Bam Crouch makes the tackle, but Craig, what a start by Gunnar Smith.
Yeah, that return kind of fueled this offense a little bit, and Gunnar Smith really more of almost got that pocket passer build, but we're seeing there the athleticism, really nice ball handling there in that previous play.
Joe Conlon raved about his arm talent. We'll see the arm here. Had a man and just did overthrow Gonzalez again.
Yeah, missed opportunity there. Gonzalez was all alone down the sideline. The corner came down on the inside route. A chance to kind of really strike back quick there for Fordham, but certainly moving the football. Gunnar Smith, a three-star prospect coming out of high school in 2022, as you mentioned, bounced around quite a bit.
3rd down and 1. This is Ricky Parks over the left side of that offensive line, and he will have himself a first down. Nice blocking up front. Owen Deutsch, who made 8 starts at right tackle a season ago, leading the way. Up-tempo Rams offense. It's a Fordham offense that struggled mightily a season ago. But Joe Conlon said he's excited about Gunnar Smith, who will look to throw again. Far sideline. Nice coverage on the play by Sayer Torrance, and he's one of those defensive backs. Pete Thamel told me, Craig, this may be the best secondary in the ACC.
Yeah, this is a sophomore. Max Tucker returned as well. He got a lot of run last year. Sayer Thomas kind of was able to step in, take over that job, and just see the nice job. The positioning, doesn't panic, looks back, locates the football. Excellent coverage there from the sophomore.
2nd down and 10. Smith is going to keep it. He's going to break a tackle. And he's going to spill forward down to the 28-yard line. KP Price had an opportunity to lock him up early. He didn't, and Smith makes something out of nothing.
Yeah, able to break a tackle in the backfield. Showing a nice little bit of balance here from Fordham. Gunnar Smith providing a weapon with his legs here early on.
3rd down and 6 from inside the BC 30. Smith, a little low, and it's broken up by Torrance again, the intended receiver, Ricky Gonzalez, and it sets up a 4th down and 6 from here to be a 47-yard field goal.
Get a little glimpse early on why Torrance was able to win that starting spot, the cornerback position. A 3-star out of New York. 2 nice plays there to stop this Fordham run here offensively on his opening drive.
46-yard field goal attempt here for Bennett Henderson, who was very reliable. 10 of 12 field goals a season ago. Snap is good, the hold is good, the kick is up, and it is good. Impressive boot by Bennett Henderson. And an impressive start for Fordham. The special teams and the offense. And a 3 on the board. We've got a 7-3 game, and we're coming right back. Bo McCormick back to receive.
True freshman they're really excited about.
Bennett Henderson kicks it away. And here is McCormick from his own goal line. Out across the 15-yard line where he's brought down by a pair of Rams tacklers. Lonergan, Craig, looked good early.
Yeah, sharp opening drive. Starts things off finding the veteran, Lewis Bond, on the out route. Then working the ball around would find an experienced tight end, number 17, Jeremiah Franklin, and finish that drive off with a toss out of the backfield to number 5, George McDonald. And you got also Turbo Richard, some nice runs as well, and a good job. 4 reception, 37 yards on our first drive by Lewis Bond.
This is Lonergan from his own 15-yard line. As time lofts it downfield in the direction of Bond, who hauls it in. Out across the 44-yard line, a gain of 28 yards before Alex Kemper brings him down.
Bond earlier on showing he's already in mid-season form. Let's start with the protection. The offensive line giving Lonergan plenty of time and just kind of on the corner out there by Bond. And again, you see the outstanding hands to extend, catch it away from his body.
Turbo Richard again behind the left guard, Eric Doherty. Big Sam Burkle is there to bring him down.
I want to go back to that O-line again. I want to harp on it. When you lose 3 players to the NFL, it's a big turnover. This is a good way to ease into the season because this Fordham defense a year ago only managed to notch 13 sacks. So you feel like you should be able to get good protection against this unit. Obviously, the Rams hoping they've upgraded a little bit, but early on, this BC line looking really sharp in protection.
Ozzie Trapillo, Drew Kendall, drafted to the NFL a season ago at a place they call Offensive Line University here. Lonergan again, a completion into Fordham territory. It's Jeremiah Franklin, his second catch of the game.
Yeah, Franklin third on the team in receptions a year ago, and they added another piece to this offense, and he's been out there. They haven't targeted him yet. Number 19, Ty Lockwood. That's a relationship to watch because him and Dylan Lonergan were both at Alabama. They were roommates there. So I think this, this tight end room could, I think, over the course of the season really develop to be strong.
And they're also very excited about young Kalen Chudzinski, whose dad, of course, Rob Chudzinski, former head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Lonergan over the middle, has Bond again, down inside the 20, inside the 15 to the 12-yard line. Alex Kemper forced him out of bounds, but not before a pickup of 32.
If you're Lewis Bond, you're thinking, what do I have to accomplish to get somebody to cover me? Because he's been running wide open here early in the game there, right over the middle. Nice job adjusting, had to slow down a little bit to make that catch.
Lonergan 9 of 10 for 123 yards, and they go back to the ground game here on first down. Jordan McDonald squirts through for about 3. Andrew Osmond's been active with making the tackle here, but a pickup of 2 for McDonald. Bill O'Brien talked about the fact that it was a true quarterback competition. He said competition brings out the best in everyone. He said both quarterbacks will play, but Lonergan and that rocket of an arm won the job. Second and 8. Play action. Back of the end zone. Touchdown, Jaden Skeet. Second touchdown strike of the day for Dylan Lonergan. Craig, how about 4 of 4 passing for 80 yards on that drive?
Way to follow up a nice opening drive there, but this time mainly through the air. Doing a nice job just kind of spreading it around as well. Outstanding protection work in the pocket. And then you see Skeet breaking free in the corner. I was a player who a year ago, for Bill O'Brien saying, he reminded him a little bit of Devonta Smith.
Luca Lombardo on to attempt the extra point. He's 2 for 2. What a start for Dylan Lonergan and his BC offense, the 14-3 lead. Drives, 2 touchdown passes from Dylan Lonergan and the 14-3 lead here on the Fordham Rams. Lombardo will kick. Lee Lewis from inside his 5. He had the big return on the first return of the game. Penalty flag down, as this time they lock up Johan Lee Lewis at his own 15.
It's pretty good to go 12 minutes without a penalty. Is this time of year, too?
You made the point.
Further discussion, there is no foul from the legal block in the back. First down.
They just wanted to get a little practice in.
Exactly,
Haven't
yes.
thrown one in a while.
The officials wanted to let us know they were here, that the microphone worked.
They had an off-season, too. They're excited.
A clean start here. And a chance, Craig, for us to see Gunnar Smith for the second time. And again, Joe Conlon raved about his arm talent. Also said he's got very good feet in the pocket. Said he's a Justin Herbert type of quarterback. Of course, you don't want to make the comparison, but he's that type of quarterback as they give it to Ricky Parks on first down behind big Cooper LaFond and Duke Leonard. Tackle made by Owen McGowan and Ty Clemens.
It's been an excellent start offensively. I'm sure on the sideline defensively, they were like, we need to tackle a little bit coming out of that opening drive. They were able to thwart that drive and only force a field goal, but not as sharp as they would have liked to have looked for BC.
Smith on the slant route. And it's incomplete. Broken up by Omar Thornton, part of that dynamic secondary. And boy, Bill O'Brien compared him to Bob Sanders. That's high praise.
Yeah, out of an outstanding program in South Florida, American heritage. Players won a lot of games in high school. Knows what it takes.
Smith had the completion on his first throw of the game. He's 0 for 4 since, and now facing a 3rd and 7. Pass is incomplete. He was looking for the tight end, Jaden Allen, but Carter Davis was there to break it up, and 3 and out for the Rams.
And we're seeing early on here, Kevin, the depth of this secondary. You mentioned Pete Thamel told you he thought it may be the best in the ACC. Very early, but you can see why somebody may think that the way they're playing and some of the depth that they have. Carter Davis, player who's worked at corner, can play safety, brings a lot of versatility to that unit.
So we'll see Will Haslett come on at the punter. He's on the preseason watch list for the 2025 FCS Punter of the Year. He had a tremendous year a season ago. Isaiah Ferris is back to receive. He's going to let it roll, and it will take a favorable Fordham bounce down at the 24-yard line. Now, it's been a while since these two programs have gotten together. Again, we made the joke about the team from the Bronx and the team from Boston. 29th meeting, Craig, first since 1954. And of course, you go way back in the day, the 7 blocks of granite. Fordham enjoyed a win for the last time in 1929.
Yeah, that's 1954. Say absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's quite a break.
So Lonergan, after the 59-yard punt, back for his 3rd drive of the game. Pass is complete along the far sideline to Luke McLaughlin. What a great story he is. A walk-on captain. And Craig, talk about earning your keep.
Yeah, came in, as you mentioned, as a walk-on and really kind of made a name for himself in this program on special teams. I think an opportunity this year to maybe expand that role a little bit as a receiver as well.
Ball seldom hits the ground when it's thrown in his direction. Bill O'Brien says he does everything the right way. Lonergan, 10 of 11 passing, and this time he hands it to Jordan McDonald up the middle. He's a classic BC back, a Doak Walker Award preseason nominee. Alex Kemper making the tackle.
Showing a little bit of that tight end depth. They have 2 tight ends in that one. One of those tight ends was the guy we hadn't mentioned yet, Zeke Moore, Florida Atlantic. He's going to really be more in that kind of blocking role.
Boston College 3 of 3 on 3rd down. The Alabama transfer Dylan Lonergan off to a sparkling start. A couple of touchdown passes early on here, looking to keep the BC drive going. And the pass is broken up. Nice play. And we've called Andrew Osmond's name several times today, Craig.
Yeah, a player who has transitioned down from safety into that linebacker role and doing a nice job there in coverage, extending to get that pass break up. He's trying to come underneath. You're going to see number 12 doing a nice job finding the football, extending to get that break up as they were looking for McLaughlin again.
And so we see Seamus Florio and the BC punt team for the first time. This was a unit Bill O'Brien made no bones about it. He said last season the punting was terrible. They ranked 2nd to last in the ACC in punting. Alex Kemper back from his own 25-yard line and nothing doing on the return. 44-yard punt, 1-yard return, and after back-to-back 3-and-outs for the Fordham offense and the BC offense, we see Gunnar Smith and company again. Greg, where can they find some consistency for Smith here?
Well, that opening drive, there was quick tempo, and he knows that they're going to have to, talking about Coach Conley, they're going to have to use some misdirection, some screens, some draws, try to keep this defense running one way, get them the other.
And there is a completion out across the 30-yard line. Catch made by Matt Burron, a senior tight end. Made a uniform change in the offseason from 85 to 1. He stepped up big time last year in the absence of Jaden Allen. Here is that tempo Craig talked about, 2nd and 6. And it's Jamil James for a short pickup. Big Hugh Hutchins was there. They've got big expectations for him.
Yeah, they're going to need him. Donovan Ezaraku moved on to the NFL, and he was just, he lived in opponent's backfield. So to lose him, they're going to need somebody to step up. Hugh Hutchins, probably one of the leaders amongst the players they're looking to help absorb some of the production loss when Ezaraku moved on.
3rd down and 6. Fordham does not need to snap it here. And they will not.
That is the end of the first.
A fast start for the Boss Patriot League. They were 12th overall in the FCS. They really struggled a year ago. And down by 2 scores early in this one. Pass is complete to Jacob Rodriguez, but a gain of only 2 yards. Carter Davis and this BC defense is stepping up.
Yeah, great job there by Carter Davis. Outstanding angle, got low, and didn't allow any yards after the catch. He just comes out. I'd like to see it wrap up, at least with that shoulder. Gets the defender down, forced the punt. Previous to that play, they only had 7 yards in 5 plays, and still not enough to get that first down on 3rd and 6.
So it brings out the punt team again. Will Hazlitt got a rocket off last time. Isaiah Ferris back standing on his own 25. And a penalty flag is thrown, and that may be a delay of game.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down. The clock will start on the snap.
After no penalty for a quarter, Fordham said, we got you. We'll get you involved.
Again, it was a punt team that, you hate to say this, was one of the strengths of the team a season ago. Will Hazlitt had a great year. Special teams in general was very good for Fordham. This time Hazlitt gets it away, and another favorable bounce picked up by Ferris at the 36-yard line, and nothing doing on the return. Well, tonight after our primetime game, the ACC Huddle Final Score crew is going to wrap up the entire day. Highlights, analysis, interviews with players and coaches. They've got you covered over on the ACC network and the all-new ESPN app. It would seem, Craig, that Clemson's the team to beat in the ACC this season.
Yeah, I mean, some may argue they may be the team to beat in college football that could make another run back at that national championship.
We'll see where Florida State fits in the mix after a 2-10 year a season ago. Lonergan taking a shot downfield. First deep throw of the game. Some contact. V.J. Wilkins, the Campbell transfer in the vicinity, but T.J. Terrence Jones was there.
Yeah, Wilkins having a chance to kind of talk to Dylan and Lewis. They said he's the speedster. He's the deep threat, so not shocking to see them take that shot here with him, but really nice job there by Fordham. You see the corner as well as the safety, Nate Lindsey-Gill, there as well.
What do you make of the blend of plays BC's run for Lonergan?
Yeah, I mean, outside, I think, you know, that was a shot they didn't need to take because the coverage was there, but otherwise they've done a really nice job of getting different players involved.
It's time to pass batted down at the line of scrimmage by Sam Burkle.
Yeah, good push there from Big 99. If you can't get to the quarterback, you get your hands up, and he does just that. After really 2 outstanding opening drives, one stalls with a 3 and out. Now potentially looking at it again here.
Yeah, Lonergan completed 11 of his first 12 passes, but 0 for 3 since. And Craig said it, now a 3rd and long for the Eagles. in the direction of Jaden Skeet. Coverage was there. Jalen Evans breaking it up, and another 3 and out for Boston College.
Yeah, even if that was complete, it would have been well short. Jalen Evans doing a nice job closing on that. The offense here stalling a little. We saw what Fordham could do on that opening drive. They get a little momentum going. Close the gap. They get another opportunity here.
Andy Quinn is on to punt it away. Alex Kemper will watch it roll into the end zone. Nice punt for Andy Quinn, the true freshman out of Galway, Ireland. Hey, the all-new ESPN app is here, and for the best experience, all you need to do is follow on a perfect late summer day in one of the great cities in America, Boston, Massachusetts. Boston College, the 14-3 lead on the Fordham Rams. Gunnar Smith hands it off to Ricky Parks. Straight ahead, and the interior of that BC defensive line has been stout so far. Quan Williams, KP Price in on the hit. Last 8 plays for Fordham have accounted for only 10 yards. 2nd and 9, they get it to Parks again. This time a little bit of room over the right side of the line. And again, big 55, Quan Williams is there.
And defensive line, we mentioned some of the players, that group really elevated last year. Only had 13 sacks in 2023, 31 a year ago. Some of those players gone, but getting a 3rd down opportunity potentially to pin their ears back, get after the quarterback.
Tough to do against this BC secondary, which is so very good. On a 3rd and 7, pass is complete to Ricky Gonzalez, but the coverage was there. Isaiah Ferris making the tackle, and another 3 and out.
Another second series in a row on a 3rd down play. Really nice tackling by that BC secondary, and allowing any yards after the catch. And again, now with Ferris, calling Ferris' name, they're continuing early on to show the depth of the secondary unit.
Will Haslett on again to punt it away to Ferris again, and this time a rocket backing Ferris up to his own 20. Slips a tackle, but he's brought down at the 25-yard line. Tackle made by Trey Bradford. NFL with the Texans. Thomas Castellanos, before transferring out last season, was an exciting quarterback here. It just was not a great fit. I don't think either side was happy with the way it ended. And on 1st down, a run play, and John Scott on the tackle.
For an injury.
Nate Lindsey-Gill in that Fordham secondary is down and gingerly walking off the field. Spin it back to Bill O'Brien for a minute, Craig. It really feels like this is really the right fit for him at this school.
Well, I think a lot of that narrative comes from the fact that Dylan Lonergan is so different from Thomas Castellanos. He was like one of those players who could pull a rabbit out of his hat at any second, then the next play step on the rabbit. Like he was like boom or bust. And I think with Dylan Lonergan, you get a little bit more of a consistent presence.
They'll hand it off on 2nd down and 7, and powering forward is Jordan McDonald. Tackle made by James Conway, who we talked about off the start of the show. So great to have him back and healthy, and a chance to become the all-time leading FCS tackler.
Yeah, he is an active presence at that linebacker position. Missed only played in 4 games a year ago, and the head coach Joe Conlon was saying just having him back is a common presence within that defense.
From Omaha, Nebraska, ending up in the Bronx. He's got 3 tackles to start this game, and now a 3rd and 3 for Lonergan, trying to get back on track, and he does. It'll be close to a 1st down, maybe a yard short. Andrew Osmond making the tackle on Jordan McDonald.
That spot looks like it's going to be just short, but I think early on in the year, maybe flex your muscles a little bit. Bringing in number 48, Zeke Moore. Another one of those tight ends, again, a little bit more of a blocker.
BC from its own 34 on 4th and 1 with more in the game will go for it. And it is a first down pickup. Jordan McDonald out across the 38-yard line. Jalen Dawson on the tackle, but a first down.
Just going, you know, it's so interesting, obviously, the resume and the history that Bill O'Brien has. But even last year, people say, you know, Castellanos wasn't really the ideal fit. They still went down to Florida State and won a big game with him. He managed to find ways to still make that offense work, showing his adaptability.
First down handoff again to McDonald. Short gain. You're right. A season ago, they go to Tallahassee, win 28-13. Get off to a 2-0 start inside the top 25. Losses to follow, but it was a great start a year ago and maybe showing the potential of what BC can be. Bill O'Brien took over for Jeff Hafley, who stepped down in 2024. Lonergan. And the pass is complete across the 40 out to the 45-yard line to Jeremiah Franklin for a gain of 5. And the athletic dynamic that Castellanos brought to this offense a year ago made them so dangerous, and a big play can happen anytime. And we haven't seen it today, and I don't think we will. But they really stress it. They feel like Dylan Lonergan brings a lot of athleticism to that quarterback position as well, and can certainly create with his legs when he needs to. On a 3rd and 4. Incomplete, a little bit late looking for Lewis Bond. And the pass was broken up by John Scott, who dropped into coverage.
Yeah, nice job by John Scott. You mentioned kind of a little bit of a ways away from the line of scrimmage there, but doing a nice job. It almost felt like Lonergan tried to kind of aim that ball in there. Needed to put a little bit more on there to deliver it to Bond, but this Fordham defense really responding nicely.
And the BC offense sputtering, and as a result, Seamus Florio punts it away again. Fair catch made by Alex Kemper.
Again, multiple screens happen.
ESPN televising 51 games this weekend. An incredible credit to our incredible team. Smith will throw on first down. Has a man, and a nice looking catch made by KJ Reed.
Really nice adjustment there by the junior Reed. He was their second leading returning receiver from a year ago. And this is a Fordham offense that lost 4 of their top 6 pass catchers. So still trying to find some new targets to develop within this system.
We haven't called the name Noden Tracy yet. They're high on him in that wide receiver room. Here's Smith keeping it and diving forward near the 40-yard line for a 7-yard gain. But that previous play, nice adjustment on the catch.
Doing a really nice job, Reed. It's going to be behind him. Watch him extend, make a little bit of the twirl there for the catch. And as you try to get going as an offense early in the season, right, it's a team game. Quarterback may be a little off target as a receiver. You got to help him out. Reed does just that.
Handoff here to Jamel James, and he powers forward near the first down line, and he's got it. Jamel James, great short yardage guy. They love the power he brings this team. He missed all of last season due to injury, but kind of a change of pace from Ricky Parks. So the Rams move the sticks, and Smith under pressure steps up. And he's going to be lucky if he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Big Bam Crouch in on the tackle. We enjoyed chatting with him yesterday.
Yeah, senior within that unit. That time, Boston College brought some pressure, got it right up the middle. Forced Connor Smith on the move.
So no pickup on first down, and a 2nd and 10 for Gunnar Smith. And they go back to the ground game, and again, little doing for Jamel James.
And that last pass, they're able to disrupting, see right up the middle, getting that pressure. Nice job there by the running back, being able to pick it up, but it still really forced Connor Smith off the spot.
They're thin at defensive line, BC is. There's no other way to say it. And the success of this team may just hinge on the guys they have. On a 3rd and long, and they will get to Smith this time, way back at the 30. Carter Davis making the push and bringing him down. A 12-yard loss.
Yeah, they brought pressure off of both edges at that time. You can see number 7 right from the top of your screen coming in, making that tackle.
They are really excited about Carter Davis. They think he could be a pro prospect. 3 interceptions a season ago. And his first sack of 2025 brings on the punt unit. Haslett. This time a short punt. Another good bounce picked up at the 27-yard line by Ferris. And he's brought down after a loss of 1. 42-yard punt. -1 yard on the return. Carter Davis and the BC defense getting to Gunnar Smith.
Despite his resume, it seemed like Fordham had kind of forgotten about him. He came out of the gate 96 yards in that first quarter. This offense has stalled a little bit. We haven't called his name very much outside of that last attempt on that last drive, but he was running free early on. Fordham's done a nice job of taking him away in the second quarter.
96 yards receiving in that opening quarter, and BC back to the ground, and they get it to Bo McCormick, a freshman out of Westford, Massachusetts. They think he is really going to be a star.
Yeah, they signed 2 really good running backs. Makai Dodd as well, another player here from the Massachusetts area, but McCormick was really impressed early on and already getting in the mix. Young player, good vision, accelerates well. See him already kind of playing a role in special teams in a return game as well.
Craig, the all-time rushing leader in the state of Massachusetts. He ran for nearly 6,700 yards in high school. Lonergan, all kinds of time. And that time quickly evaporates. Tackle made by Sam Burkle. And a loss of 5.
That was just a 2-man route, and coverage was there. Nice job by Fordham taking away those 2 options, and things slowly started to break down, and Lonergan nowhere to go. Again, a team that only managed 13 sacks a year ago. Just 2-man route. You see the protection, and it's there, but there's nowhere to go from the football, and as he runs, you see Burkle just giving a hustle, staying after it.
So a 3rd and 10. Good coverage again. Lonergan trying to run with it, and he can't get away from James Conway. 3rd straight 3 and out for Boston College.
We've talked about that BC secondary. You got to tip your hat to the way Fordham is playing in the secondary, the way they've adjusted. Again, protection was there, nowhere to go, forcing Lonergan on the move, and then James Conway closing in on the all-time tackle record in the FCC, adding another one there in pursuit.
He started the day 114 tackles away from Boomer Grigsby on the all-time list. Fair catch made by Kemper, and it'll give us a chance to see Gunnar Smith again, but really James Conway, again, just over 100 tackles away from breaking Boomer Grigsby's record set at Illinois State in the early 2000s. We talked about him in the open. He's been a factor, and you're right, the adjustments Fordham has made defensively have them right in this game.
Now I'd like to see him on this drive. Potentially, that first drive, they had a lot of tempo, and Gunnar Smith was much more active with his legs. I think they got to get him, again, moving a little bit more in some of those zone reads, get him out in the edge.
Far sideline throw, and the catch is made by Jabril Carter, the junior out of the Bronx.
Nice job blocking out the edge, too, by number 1, Matt Burron. Player from up here in Massachusetts. Nice first down pickup.
And a manageable 2nd down and 5 for the Rams. And again, they go to the far sideline. Again, it's a completion. And this time, a 1st down. 2 straight throws to Jabril Carter.
Yeah, just deja vu play. It worked once, run it again. Halfway to 1st down, you see number 1 Bird just doing a nice job, just blocking. Allowing his receiver to get past the sticks.
Well, they love the arm strength of Gunnar Smith. They like his ability to run it too, but you can't get away from Bam Crouch, who's the first to get there and bring him down.
Yeah, that just collapsed really quickly around Gunnar Smith. There's nowhere to go. A little twist up top, and you see Crouch coming around the edge. That play never had a chance to develop.
We asked Bam Crouch about the nickname. He said, and Mom gave me the nickname because I kind of forced my way out when I was born. His younger brother, Deshaun, is nicknamed Dino. He said if he had a sister, the name would be Pebbles. They hand it to Parks. Nothing doing on 3rd down. Quan Williams is there to stuff the run again, and a loss of 2.
Please set the game clock to 2 minutes. This is the 2-minute timeout.
We've hit the 2-minute timeout here in Chestnut Hill. Boston College, the 14-3 lead. Craig, it's a Fordham team that's had success against FBS teams.
Yeah, they've had the opportunity to get some wins in some of these big games. I think this is an important down here. 3rd and long, I don't think you want to force Gunnar Smith to sit in the pocket, try to get it all back. I think you play it safe. Either a quick screen out to the edge, similar formation to what they had when they started this drive and got that 1st down. But if you can go in at the half down 14-3, I think Fordham, you've got to be feeling good. So don't do something here to kind of shoot yourself in the foot.
Smith, and it is a little screen pass to Jamel James following blockers, and kind of just what you called, Craig Hobart. The block by Duke Leonard up front, and a play that doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, he tried this, as you mentioned, one of the strong points coming in the year was the punt unit. Let him try to change field position. The BC offense has just cooled since those first 2 drives, so try to get in down 14-3 and thinking, hey, it's a ball game, and got to be feeling good about our chances. So I think Fordham here in this last minute 53, the defense got to continue just to stay hot, especially in that secondary.
Joe Conlon gets Boston College to use its 1st time out. The 2nd quarter's been very evenly played. A Fordham program that has had some recent success. A couple of seasons ago, they were one of the best offenses in the FCS. They struggled a year ago with the knee injury to C.J. Montes at quarterback. Punt boomed inside the 15-yard line. This is Ferris on the return, and nice special teams play again by the Rams. And the tackle made by Michael Doctor.
And mission accomplished there. Obviously didn't do anything foolish on that 3rd down play. Now you flip field position. See if this BC offense can find a little bit of that magic that was on those first 2 drives.
Will Loing's offense marched down the field, as Craig said, on the first 2 drives of the game. A couple of touchdown throws from Lonergan. But since then, Fordham has made adjustments. BC has sputtered. They've gone 3 and out in their last 3 drives. Here's Lonergan back to Bond, and he goes over 100 receiving yards on the day with that catch. Drew Minnick helped him out of bounds.
Yeah, and could that be a little foreshadowing? Maybe because Bond was so big within that first 2 drives when they were on fire. They were finding ways to get Lewis Bond the ball. They really haven't since. He's going to come off the field on this play. Please already see him.
Officials timeout to correct the chains.
As Bond heads to the 10, a career-high 100 receiving yards, 106 receiving yards in this first half. We've got an issue with the chain gang.
Yeah. They actually got the other one's all bent up. Took a beating.
As did Bond.
They actually had an extra yard marker there. Bond just on a little bit of the out route, get pushed, and you see right into that yard marker right there with his leg. And, I mean, he bent it good.
So a 1st and 10 for Lonergan. Throws, catches made by McLaughlin out across the 35-yard line.
And now the Eagles showing a little bit of tempo of their own.
Second and 2. All kinds of time, and Lonergan to the near sideline. Catch is made, but out of bounds by Jaden Skeet.
That was interesting. He had number 20, Alex Broom, one of those other running backs, off to his left, came off it, wound up going to the other side. The Skeet was forced out of bounds there.
So a 3rd and 2 for an Eagles offense that's gone 0 for its last 5 on 3rd downs. Throw and catch made by the dependable Jeremiah Franklin, and a 1st down. Kemper on the tackle.
Yeah, the senior Franklin knew exactly where he needed to go. Got past that 1st down marker, sat right down, gave his quarterback a big target.
Clock continues to run as we approach 1 minute to go. Franklin again at the midfield stripe. He steps out of bounds. And there's a Fordham defender down in the BC backfield. That's John Scott, who we've seen rushing the passer and dropping deep into coverage.
Official timeout for an injury.
And if you've been watching games this weekend, you may have noticed too that anytime there's a defensive injury, after the ball is spotted, that timeouts have been taken away. Scott there was down from the very beginning before the ball was spotted, so it just goes to an injury timeout. But that's a new change within college football this year that you may have been noticing at times.
Scott 3 tackles, 1 breakup for a Fordham program that has an awfully storied tradition. Joe Conlon, the head coach now, but there have been some legends who have worn the Fordham uniform, coached on the
Fordham back then.
No, exactly. 2nd and 2 as we dip under a minute to go in this 1st half. Lonergan, the long throw in the direction of Turbo Richard. But again, Alex Kemper, who Coach Joe Conlon called a metronome. He said he's always dialed in. He was there.
Yeah, he was played as a freshman on that 2022 team that wound up going to the FCS playoffs. So he's played a lot of ball there at Fordham, and a nice job closing on that. Bringing up another 3rd down. See Kemper, number 14. Nice job playing the football, creating that breakup.
BC a couple of timeouts remaining. 56 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter on a 3rd and 2. Lonergan fits it in there at the 45, and the catch is made by Kalen Chudzinski. Son of Rob Chudzinski, who's a member of Bill O'Brien's staff, 2-time national champion player at Miami, former head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Charge timeout. Fordham, their 1st of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
And Joe Conlon will take his 1st time out.
And a great opportunity. I mean, Boston College came out of the gate hot. I'm sure they would have liked to continue that, but a great opportunity here to kind of work that 2-minute offense here early in the year. And done a nice job here working it into Fordham territory. How can they finish? But even the emergence of Chudzinski early on, he's just a true freshman. He's going to only add to that tight end room that's pretty deep already, that if he could become a factor here in year 1. And the buzz early on, you mentioned, has been good for him.
Well, he was headed to Princeton, and the coaching staff got a look at him practicing, and they said, wait a minute, we need this guy here at Chestnut Hill. He's in the BC uniform, and they think he could be a big factor starting this season. 1st and 10, and the completion down inside the 35-yard line to Bond, and a gain of 11.
Nice job, Lonergan, just moving the ball down the field, taking what the defense has been giving.
Lonergan deep downfield near the 13-yard line. Catch is made again by Jeremiah Franklin at a gain of 21. Boogie Owens on the coverage.
Yeah, big tight end. Be up top, work his way across. Nice catch. Quickly now right down in the red zone.
And Bill O'Brien uses his second timeout. Feels like the rhythm has come back a bit for Lonergan. Craig, he's looked sharp here in the 2-minute drive.
And it just nothing fancy, just been taking what the defense, the underneath throws, moving it down, going to some reliable targets. Just remember this drive started off with one to Lewis Bond, got him back involved, and then the experienced tight end Franklin with a couple of catches as well.
Lonergan, a young man who played sparingly at Alabama. He was in the quarterback room in Nick Saban's final year at Alabama. Ultimately, they went with Tyler Buckner. He was more familiar with the offense being run by Tommy Rees. But there were a lot of folks who felt that Saban was most intrigued with Lonergan, who followed Bill O'Brien here to Chestnut Hill. And he's leading the Eagles on a drive here inside the 15. Throwing, end zone, touchdown, Jaden Skeet. All kinds of time for Lonergan, and he finds his junior receiver. Third touchdown throw for Lonergan.
Yeah, well executed 2-minute drive there by BC. And Lewis Bond, he's going to be in the slot. He's going to be the one, he's going to come across. He's going to draw that safety down. That's going to leave Skeet all alone. You can see number 11. That Fordham defense, I let my guy go.
Extra point is up and good. Craig, 10 plays, 10 passes for Lonergan, and it results in a touchdown to Skeet.
Yeah, Fordham's gonna, Lewis Bond's gonna come across. He draws number 11, the corner down. That left Skeet all alone. Outstanding job by that line. Plenty of time for Lonergan to kind of go through his reads, and then once Skeet breaks open, because the defender left him, he's able to deliver it for the score.
Jaden Skeet, who they think is the best burner among the wide receiver core, played 4 games a season ago. Season-ending injury. Bill O'Brien has awfully high expectations, and boy, a big drive right before the half for BC. So Lombardo on to kick it away. Johan Lee Lewis back looking to receive. 10 plays in 78 seconds for the Boston College offense. And they've grabbed a 21-3 lead.
Yeah, I mean, Fordham, I think, played it right, facing that 3rd and long in their previous drive. But obviously, Boston College, with all the tools and weapons they had, kind of found that mojo that they had in that first 2 drives. And really well executed by Dylan Lonergan and the rest of that offense. Just taking what the defense gave them, being consistent, working their way all the way down the field. And an assignment bust ultimately allows them to punch it back into the end zone.
So 26 seconds to go in the first half here. And it appears Fordham will be content handing it to Rodriguez. Ball is fumbled. It's loose on the ground. Smith dives on it. Said McConnell punched it free. Almost disaster as Fordham just was trying to run out the clock.
As you mentioned, he's going to put it in there. The ball's going to pop out. You can see number 24, Amari Jackson. He's going to try to scoop it up, take it. Does not find a handle. Allows Gunnar Smith an opportunity to get back on that ball and into half without any damage. Or damage.
BC ending the first half with a touchdown drive, and you're right, nearly a big-time turnover. 3 TD strikes. And the first 2 set to kick to Johan Lee Lewis, who his first touch of the game, we said made a bad decision, but it resulted in a 37-yard return. This time, no opportunity to return it. And we'll see the Rams and Gunnar Smith and the offense for the first time here in the second half.
And Gunnar Smith, a player who came into this Fordham program through the junior college ranks, was at Highland last year. Had a really good season, over 2,400 yards, 19 touchdowns at Highland, and bounced around a little bit before that. Really did a tour of Florida, Central Florida, South Florida, but now at Fordham, and I think they've got a quarterback here to try to make some strides here in 25.
He settled in a bit. He completed his last 7 throws of the first half, that time looking deep downfield to Jabril Carter. And Amari Jackson was there on the coverage. Craig, he was named to the Senior Bowl top 300 list to start the year off the ACL tear last year.
Yeah, he was a 4-star recruit coming out in 2022. Had a chance, tried to go for that scoop and score right before the end of the half to put some more points on the board, but bookending some big plays here.
Second down and 10, pass is intercepted, picked off, and returned for a touchdown. Bam Crouch, the pick six.
And Gunnar Smith's not going to see Bam just step right into that lane, looking to the outside. And a senior linebacker with the pick six early on. He was trying to find the tight end, Jaden Allen, and did not see Crouch. Sliding over into that window, and big play there by the linebacker.
Second Boston College touchdown in the last 39 seconds of game time. Was that a linebacker or a wide receiver there, Bam Crouch?
Yeah, we talked to Bam yesterday. He said he wanted to work a little bit on his pass rush ability as a blitzer. Haven't seen that yet, but they're a really nice job in coverage, making a play. And as a team, Boston College, especially early in the year, you want to get all phases going. Making some plays on offense there, making one on defense as well.
You pick that pass off and you bring it back for 6, you're keeping that football as a keepsake. What a play by the senior linebacker out of Tampa, Florida, Davion Bam Crouch. And what a shot of adrenaline for Boston College to open the second half.
We were at about a minute 50, Kevin, and it was 14-3. And how quickly things have changed now. About 13 seconds into the third quarter is now 28-3.
A Boston College team that returned 3 interceptions for touchdowns a season ago. Best in the ACC. They get a pick six here to open the second half, and they open up a 28-3 lead. Johan Lee Lewis is going to bring it back, and he's not going to get back to the 20-yard line. Tackle made by Bo McCormick in special teams.
There you go. The more you can do. I think one of the interesting things, too, is one of the narratives this offseason that Bill O'Brien has talked about with Boston College is eliminating bad football. One of the things they actually did well last year, they were +9 in turnover margin. It's a big part of the game here early on, getting a turnover, quickly turning it into points by returning it. But yeah, I think that's a part of this defense, especially with their secondary, to try to help this team throughout the year with a really tough schedule to keep creating turnovers.
All right, so Gunnar Smith, second drive of the second half, and he is engulfed at the 14-yard line. Hugh Hutchins, Ced McConnell, 2 of those guys trying to make up for what they lost a year ago, and Donovan Ezeraku.
Yeah, McConnell, a transfer in from Illinois, but you see number 15. He was in the backfield so quick he had to stop, let the play develop before he could make the tackle.
Quintavious Hutchins, they know him as Q here at Chestnut Hill. Smith, little screen pass, and it is blown up. Omar Thornton is there, and the BC secondary showing its teeth here to start the second half.
Yeah, Fordham had a blocker out there. Didn't matter to Thornton. He's just going to beat it. You're going to see it's going to be right up top. There's a big offensive lineman trying to block him. Thornton just goes right underneath him. Low man wins, makes a tackle.
Fordham heading in the wrong direction. 3rd and 15. The crowd is alive here at Alumni Stadium. The Eagles defense breathing down Smith's neck, and that pass tipped, nearly intercepted by two different defenders. Amari Jackson was there.
As you mentioned it, two players had a chance of it. A little bit of ricochet action, unable to get that interception. Amari Jackson's been close twice now.
Twice.
Once on a fumble, once on an interception. But yeah, right up, coming off of that pick six, it just seems like that defense has got just a wave of kind of mojo behind him and just swallowed up Fordham on that drive.
And you wonder what the conversation between the offensive coordinator, Art Aselta, and Gunnar Smith is right now. Haslett gets it away. Fielded at the 45 by Ferris. Breaks a tackle into Fordham territory. Ferris still on his feet down to the 34-yard line. A punt of 42. A return of 21. And what a start to this second half by the Boston College defense. Bam Crouch, the pick six. An SMU team that will make the trip to Chestnut Hill this season. And what an incredible start to this second half for BC. A nightmare for Fordham. 28-3. Lonergan on first down will be brought down back behind the line of scrimmage. That's John Scott, who's been active in this opener. And he brings him down for a 5-yard loss.
Yeah, Scott at the bottom of your screen just working against Kevin Klein. Just powers him back as Lonergan tries to step up, makes a play. Scott really proven to be a really versatile defender with his Fordham defense. He's been impressive today.
Second sack of the game for a guy who started all 12 games at the buck position a season ago. Team that struggled to get to the quarterback a season ago, and they get it to Turbo Richard. We haven't seen a ton of the running game from BC today, primarily because it's been Lonergan ripping it. We have seen a lot of Andrew Osmond, who makes the tackle.
But when they have run, there hasn't been big running lanes there. Again, this offensive line, can't stress it enough, 3 players moving on to the NFL from that unit a year ago. So there's certainly some questions. You know, Jude Bowery at that left at tackle is a really strong player, but all 5 of these offensive linemen have been in this program, but it's still a new unit trying to gel that lost 3 outstanding players from 2024.
Third and 13 for the Eagles. Lonergan, Bond, blockers. Down to the 30-yard line, where he's brought down by half the Rams defense, including Claudie Robinson. And so it sets up an interesting situation here, Craig. Boston College, a team that attempted just 5 field goals all of last season. They made only 3 field goals. The kicking game was a major issue for BC.
And I think early on, try to get some reps there. Try to improve that stat on the year from, as you mentioned, really, you almost looked at those stats on paper and go, is that real?
It'll be a 48-yard attempt for Luca Lombardo, who won the job in camp, and just enough leg off the crossbar and through. I guess the range is 48 yards, huh?
Yeah. You could take it as a sign that maybe things are going to bounce their way in the kicking game this year. Right off the crossbar and gets the right bounce the right way. No style points. It still counts the same as long as you get it through and doink.
Well, 2 ways of looking at that stat. They attempted only 5 field goals last year. One way is to say, boy, great that they didn't have to settle for field goals, but I think it was more of a lack of confidence in that part of the game for Bill O'Brien. And Lombardo won the job in camp, beat out Liam Connor. And he'll point to that in the box score as one that split the uprights with room to spare.
There's no footnotes on how it got in there.
No question. Lee Lewis from his own 4. nothing doing, and a gorgeous tackle made by Anthony Ferrucci on special teams. Owen McGowan in there as well. Craig, first drive of the game, Fordham went 35 yards. In the 8 drives since, a total of 25 yards.
Yeah, for them, the first down plays are so important because they want to get some tempo. That opening drive, they were able to do that. Haven't since.
Here's Smith out of the pocket. Pass is complete, but immediately bottled up by Sid McConnell. Correction, it was Jason Hewlett, the linebacker, who made the tackle, the Michigan transfer, who was big on special teams a year ago and now a key piece at linebacker for Bill O'Brien's team. They run it to Jamil James, and Omar Thornton is there again.
Lucky that ball didn't hit the ground. Looked like that was really had a stretch to get that handoff. As you mentioned, number 0, Thornton was screaming off the edge. Putting it back in another 3rd and long here.
Well, a nightmare scenario for Joe Conlon's team over the last 5.5 minutes. They've gone backwards in the last 7 plays, negative 18 yards. Third and 12 for Smith. Lofts it downfield, nobody home. He was looking in the direction of Jabril Carter, but coverage was there. Carter was not, and another 3 and out.
Yeah, he was looking for Carter to push that upfield. He broke it inside. His offense has just been really struggling since that open drive. Just BC has made it hard for them to kind of get any positive yardage, kick that tempo in.
And it feels like the size advantage up front has been wearing down that Fordham offensive line. Hazlitt gets it away. Ferris Fields at his own 36 has a lane and spills forward to the 49-yard line. All Boston College in the season opener. BC offensive coordinator Will Lawing said he's the same guy every day. He's got great command in the huddle, does the extra stuff that's not always required. And they think they may have the long-term answer here at BC. Does a nice job of catching that snap and making something out of nothing. A guy who has a background in baseball showing off.
And Bill O'Brien yesterday, he really stressed the athleticism that Lonergan has.
They hand it off to Turbo Richard over that right side, and he's close to a first down. I loved chatting with Dylan yesterday and asking him, hey, have you been to Fenway Park? He said, of course, been to Fenway Park. We asked him, what's it like acclimating here? He said, of course, it's cold in the fall. Hadn't owned a winter jacket before coming up here.
Well, yeah, I found that kind of interesting because I've been to Georgia. It can kind of get cold in Georgia. Like, Georgia's not Bermuda. But yeah, he certainly seemed to be taken aback by the cold. Welcome to Massachusetts.
Right, exactly. Welcome to the Northeast. On a 3rd and 2, first down. Catch is made by Lewis Bond, who has been sparkling today. Craig, his 8th catch of the game.
Yeah, he's just been on fire. 2 years in a row leading this group in receptions and setting a tone early on here in game 1.
They'll hand it off to Richard, and a nice run up the middle, and the will and the size advantage of this Boston College team is taking over. Nice run behind the center, Dwayne Alec.
Being a Northeast guy, I think you would appreciate this. The best advice I can give to Dylan Lonergan is not so much a jacket, get an automatic car starter. When winter comes,
yes,
that's your best friend.
Sam Burkle on the tackle that time, but we got our opportunity on the previous play to see Turbo Richard.
AC, a nice job there, number 58. Pushing down the line, creating a seam there. Excuse me, that was Alec, the center, number 53. Player who's been really versatile for them along that front. Played different positions, now taking over at center this year.
Big package in for BC. They go back to the ground game, and it'll be another first down for Turbo Richard, who has the potential to be really, really good. We mentioned earlier he had the touchdown run in the Pinstripe Bowl a season ago against Nebraska, the all-time leading rusher at Northwestern High School. It's a crowded running back room, but Richard is the guy who could be special.
Yeah, I think he's going to lead that charge, so to speak, but I think you're going to see several backs throughout the course of this season kind of share the load back there in the backfield.
And they pound it forward again with Richard on a short gain, tackle made by Cole Nilsson.
And I think if you're Bill O'Brien and Will Long, I think what you want to see the rest of this game is a little bit better. Look, overall, Boston College State has done a nice job pass protection. I think you want to see them be able to fire off, create some more running lanes.
BC opened the second half with the pick six. They added a field goal on the previous drive, and now Lonergan looking for more. Over the middle, it's Lewis Bond one more time. His 9th catch before James Conway gets there.
And you want to know why Bond's so effective, why every year he's so consistent, has so many receptions. You see, not afraid to go over the middle, take a hit, sit down. You can work on the outside, work inside, such a versatile, reliable target.
We started the day saying he's 75 receptions away from the all-time BC record. We didn't think he'd get there today, but he's been dynamite on a 3rd and 5. Lonergan looking end zone, throws it up, it's caught. Touchdown, Reed Harris. What a catch by the redshirt sophomore. And BC has blown this one open.
Such a big target. We talked to Dylan Lonergan yesterday. He said he's the 50-50 guy. Throw it up. This is more like 80-20. Just using that big frame, going up, extending for the ball. He's such a matchup nightmare. And again, this is a player out of Montana. Didn't face great competition in high school. Was a quarterback because he was the best player on the field. There's still a lot of potential and ability to squeeze out of Reed Harris, number 4, but they're showing the ability to go up as this Boston College offense now, after a fast start and a lull, is really starting to roll here to get into the season with a strong start.
Here at Boston College, 24 unanswered points in the last 10 minutes and 5 seconds of game time. They've blown open a 38-3 lead. All right, so where exactly does Boston College fit in the ACC? These preseason polls, I don't know too many who are fans of. What do you think of where BC is set?
I think it's a little bit too low. I really think that it's a tough schedule. You and I were talking before the game. They've been kind of stuck at like 7 for a while. It's been a long time. You think you have to go back to 2009, the last time they won 8 games. But I think that might be, a great year if they can get there, but probably a little higher, maybe around 10.
They hand it off here to Ricky Parks, and he scoots across the 30-yard line before Omarion Davis gets him down.
I think Lonergan's going to bring a lot more consistency to that offense. The big question is, how's the offensive line going to hold up with those 3 defections to the NFL? And how can that defensive line continue to mature, especially with Donovan Ezeraku and all the production that he brought as an elite pass rusher moving on. So I think really the answer lies in the trenches. They're going to be one of the best in the nation in terms of their secondary. I think they're going to be upgraded at quarterback and some consistency.
And it feels like in a lot of ways, Fordham is just trying to give that defense a little bit of a break here. They're pounding it with Ricky Parks on the first 2 plays of this drive. Massive size differential. We talked about the BC offensive line giving up a ton of pounds to the BC defensive line as Smith throws, and the catch is made by Matt Burron. Davis on the coverage, but that's the first 3rd down conversion for Fordham since their first possession of the game. And this time Smith flushed out of the pocket, throwing toward the far sideline in the direction of Noden Tracy. But there you go. Q Hutchins was the one with the penetration.
Yeah, he's been the most active, really, amongst those defensive players for Boston College. He was, you know, with Ezeraku moving on, he's a returning leader in sacks for 3.5 from a year ago.
After Ezeraku had 16.5 last season, the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, now a member of the Dallas Cowboys, whose role, by the way, has all of a sudden greatly increased as the catch is made by Noden Tracy for the first time. KP Price on the coverage. Well, they must like Ezeraku because he's been thrust into the spotlight here after the big trade.
They better like him, too. He's the guy now. Seems like there's a whole soap opera around that Micah Parsons trade.
Parsons now in Green Bay and a big hole on the defense for Dallas. 3rd and 7 for Smith. Hit as he throws, hit low, and a flag comes in, and maybe a little bit too low, Craig.
Holding. Offense number 64. The penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Well, I should have known better. This has been a very clean played game by BC.
Yeah, Q Hutchins right around the edge again and just getting good pressure there. I just want to say this officiating crew is setting the bar for the year.
Right.
This is a phenomenal crew. Like, I forgot they were out there, bro.
Reservations at Pammy's maybe tonight. And no penalties on Boston College, and the punt is blocked. Oh, what a play on special teams. BC, Charlie Camella.
Carmella, part of that 24 class, just gets a free shot, does a great job taking it off the toe. Now Boston College making plays in all 3 phases. Obviously offensively, a pick 6 on defense, and big number 32 taking it right off the toe. Beautifully executed.
Camella gets there, takes it off the foot of Will Haslett. And again, BC set up for more, looking to put this one totally out of reach. Richard over the left side, still going down to the 13-yard line. James Conway, we've called his name. We figured we would quite a bit. But a gain of 5 yards for Turbo Richard.
Blew a tire on that one, lost a shoe.
How about the 13th tackle made by James Conway?
A quiet 13 tackles too. They just add up, but a lot of that, again, he just has a relentless motor. You watch him on tape, he's always in the final shot, whether he makes a tackle or not. He's always running to the ball.
Here's Bo McCormick running the football. Conway was there again. And if you want to spotlight a positive for Fordham, it is James Conway. We mentioned him off the top of the broadcast. FCS first-team preseason All-American, a member of the Buck Buchanan Award watch list. What a stud. What a constant he's been at that position.
And he came out of Omaha, Nebraska to Fordham, came during the COVID period, a sight unseen. You want to talk about a great recruiting wing, getting a player like that without ever getting him on campus until the day he shows up to enroll.
Lonergan rolling, throwing, catch is made. And it's hauled in by Brady Clough. At Conway, 451 career tackles, again closing in on the all-time FCS record held by Boomer Grigsby. He's now 100 tackles shy of the all-time FCS record.
Well, what's interesting too is they have a linebacker coach there named Ryan Greenhagen, who was before James Conway, and he was a tackling machine, and be able to replace him with Conway is impressive.
Greenhagen's now on the staff as a grad assistant as they pound it to Turbo Richard again, down inside the Fordham 5-yard line.
He has set some of those conference and school records, and Conway came right up behind him and snatched him away from him. And you know, the coaches rave about the way that Conway is not just his football, everything he does is about getting better. The coach saying, I don't even think he takes any cheat days when on his meals. Everything he does is to fuel himself and get better.
A football player's football player as Richard turbos his way into the end zone. First rushing touchdown of the season for Turbo Richard, and Boston College has opened up a 44-3 lead.
After getting a lot done through the air, they just kind of bullied their way downfield. Good vision there from Turbo. You can see him, not a lot of movement. Wait, he's going to break it to his left, lower that shoulder, and again, it's where that powerful, compact build comes in. He powers his way across the goal line. We were at 150-ish at the end of the first half. It was 14-3, and Boston College forced the punt, got the ball back, executed a beautiful 2-minute drive, and it has just been Eagles ever since.
They're taking a look to see if, in fact, Richard had a knee down before the ball crossed the plane.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
He was following the block of Eric Doherty, who they're high on, the left guard. Wayne Alec, the center. Jude Bowery, who, Frank, he's a guy they think could be the next great offensive lineman here, again, at a place they affectionately call Offensive Line University.
Yeah, Jude out of St. Francis Academy in Baltimore. A couple of players on his team from there. Yeah, he's got the lower body flexibility, the length that you want to tackle. Certainly has all the tools to be one of the best left tackles in the ACC. Again, being a part of that unit a year ago, learning from some great players like Drew Kendall and Ozzie Trapillo. We're going to see here if Turbo is able to get across, kind of gets in the mix there.
To further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. Touchdown.
And there you go, and that's the new terminology, right? The ruling has been upheld.
Yeah, no more stands are confirmed. They want to move things along, not having to, if you can't overturn it, not having the replay officials then have to determine whether it's the right call or whether they can't change the call. So now it's just upheld, moving on. Never mad at a little more efficiency.
Let's keep it going.
And that was, he was lost in there. Did you see Kevin? I couldn't even find him in that pile. So you're going to tell me he didn't get across. Better eyes than me.
A sea of humanity down there as the extra point is up and good by Lombardo. 5 different Boston College Eagles have scored 6 touchdowns today for BC. We've had a defensive touchdown and that block punt leading to a Turbo Richard touchdown, and they've been ringing that bell here at Alumni Stadium. Bill O'Brien's team comfortably in front, and tonight after our primetime game, the ACC Huddle Final Score crew will wrap up the whole day. Highlights, analysis, interviews with players and coaches. They've got you covered over on the ACC Network and the all-new ESPN app. Jimbo Fisher, a part of the team this year on the ACC Network. .31 points for Boston College in the last 14 minutes and 56 seconds of game time. Andy Quinn will kick it off. He's a great story. He's out of the NFL Academy, Galway, Ireland native. He's got family here in Boston, and he's kicking for the Boston College Eagles now.
Yeah, they've been pretty active. The 2 players on this roster from the NFL Academy. They also got an offensive lineman, and then they have 1 committed in this 2025 class. It's great to see the game of football expanding more globally, and some of the players that are coming from over in Europe, and Boston College smartly tapping into that.
As Smith will throw on first down. Nice looking catch made by Noden Tracy, who was held in check in the first half. Max Tucker was all over him, but Tracy made a great catch.
Yeah, Tracy, number 21, just showing the hand strength there, as you mentioned. The coverage was there. Defender on him. Nice catch, nice throw as well.
Gunnar Smith guns one to the near sideline, and the catch is made. We call Jack Freeberg's name for the first time. One of the great high school receivers in the history of the state of Arizona. And that's how this third quarter comes to a close.
The end of the third quarter.
All Boston College in this third quarter.
Mention he also had a field goal as well, and a passing touchdown, so somebody got to yell bingo in that third quarter.
A little bit of everything there as Jamel James pounds it forward. Again, you made the point towards the end of the third quarter. This was a 14-3 game, and we were saying, hey, maybe Joe Conlon says, let's get to the half, keep it an 11-point game. BC adds a touchdown right at the end of that first half, and the third quarter was an avalanche as Smith's pass drops incomplete over the middle in the direction of Jack Benton.
Yeah, I mean, it was an avalanche because Boston College was clicking in all three phases. I mean, it was a complete quarter from them. Everybody contributed, defense, special teams, offense. It's hard to stop somebody when you kind of get hit from all sides.
Well, Joe Conlon said he's using the motivation of the preseason 8th selection in the Patriot League out of 8 teams. He knew today was going to be a very difficult day. We see the backup punter, Dominic Sansone, in the game. And Charlie Camella, who had that blocked punt, is back to return this punt. He makes the wise decision to let it bounce out of bounds. And the day is over for Dylan Lonergan, and it gives us a chance to see Grayson James for the first time here in 2025. Craig, he was a huge part of this BC team last season, started 5 games. That doesn't count the performance where he came off the bench and led BC to a win against Syracuse.
As you mentioned earlier, he was part of that battle, before obviously Dylan Lonergan was able to kind of take it over and win it. Talking to his teammates yesterday, they were all impressed with the way that he has handled it, the team player he's been.
And here he is on the keeper and a nice 9-yard pickup on first down. Bill O'Brien called Grayson James one of the most improved quarterbacks he's ever been around. He said he has a future in football, which for the 5th-year senior would mean beyond Boston College. He's that high on him. He said he'll be ready to play if called upon, and here he is getting his opportunity in the fourth quarter. They give it to Broom, and Broom is swallowed up. Colby Spencer, the senior out of Pembroke, Massachusetts, with the tackle.
What's interesting is we've all seen enough football to know that you better have some depth at every position, quarterback being one of them. But it's going to be interesting to see. I saw a stat that it's been 2018 since Boston College has gone through a season with one quarterback starting every game from beginning to end. And that consistency at that position is so important. And I think if you're a BC fan, you're hoping that Lonergan coming in can be that consistent presence. But obviously, it's always nice to have a player like Grayson James, as you mentioned, has some real game experience behind him.
Here's James throwing for the first time. He's got a man wide open. Dawson Pugh in the open field. Pugh down inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. One of those freshman receivers they think could be a big impact guy. A 52-yard gain for Dawson Pugh.
Yeah, a lot of excitement for the freshman, a part of that 2025 class. He is all alone. Grayson James connects, and nice first introduction to college football for Dawson Pugh.
Broom pushes forward for about a yard before Conway and Spencer are there. It's not the big three, the Skeet, Harris, and Bond. They call the next group the little three here, as Pugh is a part of that, along with Natrell Jones, Samaj Fleming, Ned Bolden, second cousin of Anquan Bolden. There's VJ Wilkins. They give it to Broom again, and Broom was not able to find the edge. Tackle made by TJ Jones. Our producer, Joe McCoy, saying Broom was swept up by the defense there. We're approaching that part of the game, Craig.
Got a little squirting flour on my lapel.
There you go. Third and 7 coming up here for Grayson James. All kinds of time, and a gorgeous throw down inside the 5-yard line. That connection of James and Pugh making it work again.
And freshman, see, on the outside, bends her out in, back outside. One of the things about Pugh, just watching from evaluations coming out of high school, he's not a speedster, but a really good route run, a good body control.
They hand it off to Alex Broom, and he muscles his way in. Touchdown, Boston College, and the lead is 51-3.
Getting Broom downhill. There was some linemen in his way at the goal line. He just got behind him, pushed him right in.
Defense, more than 11 players on the field. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Never good when you got 12 on the field and they still score.
Exactly, yeah. St. James, Dylan Lonergan, and that offense have been sharp here, particularly in the second half where they've blown this game open. Lee Lewis lets it sail over his head. Fordham team that had the fortuitous kick return after falling behind 7-0. They marched down the field, got a field goal out of it, and we thought, hey, maybe Gunnar Smith and the Rams are here to play. But since that opening drive, it's been a lot of 3-and-outs, a lot of going in the wrong direction, and a lot of Boston College. As the pass is knocked down by Josiah Griffin.
Griffin getting in the way of a screen opportunity there. He's going to try to dump it off. Nice job by Griffin finding the football, getting his paw up, knocking it down, and getting deeper here on the roster, getting guys some playing experience, game time.
Griffin was primarily a special teams player last year. His brother's on the Eagles team as a receiver. And there's Smith. Nice looking throw to Noden Tracy, who was held in check in the first half, but he's been a factor in the second half.
And at this stage with this type of lead, you're gonna give some stuff underneath, come up, make the tackle.
Smith again throws. Here's Freeberg, who muscles his way across the midfield stripe down to the 49-yard line. Play action for Smith, and it's batted down at the line of scrimmage again. Penalty flag in the backfield in the neighborhood of holding.
Holding. Offense number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Cooper LaFond, the guilty party.
Working against a redshirt freshman, Jason Flint. See, right, number 94, he just takes him down. We were in a ring with some ropes, wrestling. It'd be a good move, but not there.
It's been an impressive showing from the Boston College defense Secondary's been great. They got the pick six from Bam Crouch. Pressures by the front four. And that pass thrown in a tight window. And Max Tucker was there. He's one of the more vocal personalities on this team. They say he can fill it up in practice. And he's a guy who says he treats every practice like game day. And here on game day, he's making a play.
Yeah, player with some experience, just adding to more of the depth in that secondary. Said it right out of the top. Not only is it a strength of the team, could be one of, if not the strongest group within the entire conference. And that's going to help a unit that needs to kind of pick up some lost production and pass rush.
Smith steps up, throws against his body, and it drops incomplete. Charlie Camella, another play where we're calling Charlie Camella, who had the blocked punt. He was returning a punt, that time in coverage. Frustrating day for Gunnar Smith and the Fordham Rams. As Camella is back to return this boot. Again, Dominic Sansone, the backup punter, sophomore out of Rochester, McQuaid Jesuit High School. High punt, fielded by Camella at his own 20. Spins away, and now Camella has space. He has a blocker, cuts back. And a nice return by Charlie Camella. Great field position for Boston College and Grayson James after Charlie Camella shows up again on special teams on a special day for BC. They lead it 52-3.
Boys, that's one of the attributes that really kind of made him so highly regarded coming out of high school.
Beat out Grayson James for the job in camp. There's James going deep. He's got a man. It's VJ Wilkins down inside the 5-yard line.
Oh, he's the vertical threat in that group and tried to do it earlier. This time they connect 55 yards. All starts with the protection there. Grace James steps up. And VJ Wilkins, the transfer, coming in from Campbell with the big play.
And Bo McCormick pounds it in for another Boston College touchdown. First touchdown of his Boston College career, but it was set up by the deep ball.
Yeah, ball hanging up there. VJ Wilkins running underneath it, and then the freshman they're so excited about, Bo McCormick, doing a nice job right off tackle, lowering his shoulder, getting in there. Now, Kevin, all four backs, Jordan McDonald through the air, but also Turbo Rich, Alex Broom, and Bo McCormick all have gotten in the end zone today. So that deep stable of backs well represented in the final stats.
That's a great point. The receiver room's got its share of touchdowns. Jaden Skeet, Reed Harris with touchdown grabs. And Grayson James, who, you could say lost the quarterback battle. Maybe Dylan Lonergan won it. James was such a part of last season's team. And you made the point, you can never have enough depth. James 3 of 3 passing for 129 yards. Fordham with 116 passing yards as a team.
Yeah, a lot of curiosity what they can do as an encore after an impressive run last year.
Fair catch made for the Fordham Rams. All right, so let's take a look at that intriguing schedule for BC. They go to Michigan State. They return that home and home this season. They beat the Spartans here last year. And then the trip all the way across the country to take on the ACC rival Stanford.
followed by Cal at home. Getting all their West Coast flavor of the ACC there. But listen, that's a tough schedule. There's a lot of games in there they can win, but I mean, they got a chance to kind of get warmed up, get loosened up here against Fordham, and then it's right into it. Starting next week with Michigan State.
And if you're a BC ticket holder, you say, man, this was the year to get it. You're going to see Clemson, you're going to see Notre Dame, and you're going to see SMU all here at Alumni Stadium.
I mean, you have to go back 2009 at the last time that BC had an 8-win season, and 7 a year ago, and I think pushing, they get to 8 this year. I think with that schedule, I think it's continuing, this program's continuing really in the right direction. And I think the excitement's warranted. Is, again, seems like it was only second year of this Bill O'Brien era. You remember, he took that job in February of 2024 as well.
Here's Gunnar Smith on the keeper, and he'll scramble for the first down. Charlie Camella in on the tackle. Craig, a year ago, they got off to the great start. They win at Florida State, beat Michigan State here at Alumni Stadium to get to 4-1. They middle of the season, things kind of didn't go their way. They dropped 4 of 5, but they finish with a couple of wins to get to the Pinstripe Bowl. And Bill O'Brien talked about the importance of getting to a bowl, getting his players experience playing in a bowl game. And they really have the opportunity. Look, if things fall their way, they have an opportunity to get off to a very good start this season.
Yeah, you and I were, we were just talking before the game, looking at the schedule. Listen, they're going to need to follow his mantra of eliminate bad football, but it's not unreasonable to think they can go into that Clemson game undefeated at 5-0.
Stanford lost a week ago to Hawaii. It's a Cal team whose roster has been in flux. They lose Jaden Ott and Fernando Mendoza. Smith will take a deep shot. And just a bit too much on it. The intended receiver was Jack Freeberg. So if you're Joe Conlon, do you forget the game tape? Do you rip it up and say on to Monmouth next week, or how do you assess this game?
Hey, probably move it on. I mean, again, I think it's more about making strides within the Patriots, turning things around within the FCS.
3rd and 9 for Smith. Has a man over the middle. It's complete to Matt Burron, and it's a Rams first down.
One of those where you make a cut up, you got that first drive, you got a couple plays here and there, things to build off of. And I truly believe that. Again, I had a chance to see this Fordham team in 2022 when they went to the playoffs. Don't know if they'll get back there as breaking a run after the catch, but I do think that they've got a really good quarterback in Gunnar Smith. Player that was a FBS signee coming out of high school, bounced around a little bit. I thought he played really well at Highland last year at JUCO. I think they got a chance to be much better within the Patriot League, and kind of say, Coach, he was ready to use that 8th place preseason as a motivational tool, and I think they could certainly beat that this year.
Well, he said, when the Patriot League poll came out and they were picked 8th out of 8 teams, he said he had a big smile on his face. He said he couldn't wait to tell his team to use that as motivation. And look, every team deals with injuries. Injuries ravaged this offense a season ago. But 2 years ago, you're right, the offense was prolific. 3 years ago, the offense was one of the best. They were a playoff team. And a new quarterback here in Gunnar Smith, who you've been very high on. The receivers maybe need to catch up to where he is right now, as that was a dangerous throw in the direction of Noden Tracy.
But, I mean, Conlon knows how to get it done. That offense in 2022, obviously they had the players. They were 3rd all-time in the FCS in scoring, that offense. I mean, Mississippi Valley State, I believe that was a Jerry Rice team, was number 1 all-time, but they were averaging over 50 points a game. That was an explosive offense, so they know what to do. Obviously, having the players executed helps, but I do think they're slowly starting to get the pieces. And obviously, after last year, there's plenty of wiggle room to kind of start to improve.
And let's not forget, it's a Fordham team that's replacing a 2-time 1,000-yard rusher in Julius Luffridge.
Defense number 96, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Oh, BC was on a run there for no penalty.
The perfect game is over.
Oh. To play the first game of the year and not have any penalties, and just, one that. this officiating crew has been awesome, so I'm not gonna say anything on that push.
They've done a nice job keeping the flags in the pockets, but a little bit too much from Jaden Fry that time. And so the drive continues for Smith and the Rams. Back corner of the end zone. And he overthrows Jack Freeberg. And Craig, let's be honest, this is a Fordham team that's not going to give up this kind of size again this season.
No, I mean, they won 6 games in 23. I think this is a good progression. I certainly think this is a team that can get back to that, getting over 500, having a winning season. We saw early on in the secondary, they've got some players in the secondary.
Smith has a man wide open along the far sideline. It's Jamil James, and he's down to the 1-yard line. He missed all of last season due to injury. They made it clear they are happy to have Jamil James back.
Hey, he's in the backfield. You're going to see him just slide out. He is all alone. Those shoulders turned upfield for a nice gain.
And here is Smith on the keeper and a touchdown run for Gunnar Smith.
While they were prolific in the air back in 2022, that's something that this offense this year with Gunnar Smith can certainly do. He can bring some ability with his legs. The Rams continue to keep fighting here. It's been a rough day after that first drive, but always good when you can put some points on the board. Try to leave on a positive.
Extra point attempt by Bennett Henderson is up and good. A positive for Gunnar Smith and the Fordham Rams on a day that it's been all Boston College. Day for the great Lee Corso. And does it get any more fitting, Craig Halbert, that he picked Ohio State to win and the Buckeyes won?
Yeah, going out on top. Way to exclamation point, an outstanding career. And also always think an unsung champion of the pencil industry. Whenever I think of Lee, I always think of the pencil. He's always got that pencil in his hand.
Good that there were no dogs involved, no weapons involved in Coach Corso's headgear pick, but the amazing symmetry that he started the headgear picks with Ohio State, and he finishes with Ohio State, and the Buckeyes come away with a 14-7 win in a colossal game in college football. And there are going to be a lot of questions now moving forward about Arch Manning and Texas scoring only 7 points, and Ohio State coming off the national championship a season ago and beating the #1 team in the country.
Actually didn't get a chance to prep getting ready for our game, see much of that game. I'm curious to see more, but it'll be interesting to see the Arch Manning narrative, because 48 hours ago he was the #1 pick. Teams were going to tank for him. Now 7 points. Again, I don't know how that game played. Ohio State is loaded defensively, got a great team, so it could be a lot of factors involved. I also think Arch Manning is an outstanding quarterback, and you see all that plays out, but it'll be interesting to hear the noise that comes out this week after that.
Well, the preseason Heisman favorite,
Boston College.
Arch Manning, for a guy who started just 2 games
It will be 30 seconds.
in his career. Part of the big picture in college football, obviously an enormous win for Ohio State, Big Ten, beating an SEC team. Right now, Florida State a 17-7 lead over Alabama. So a promising start for the ACC. And a chance for Clemson to make a statement tonight.
Yep.
And off to Anthony Ferrucci, and Boston College will move the chains. Another look. So again, this is the early season, preseason top 10.
been waiting so long. It's like Miami's back. Miami's back.
They got Carson Beck now, the Georgia transfer at quarterback. Grayson James throwing downfield. A wide open man down to the 22, and that's Luke McLaughlin. And if you want someone to root for, kind of an underdog story, it's McLaughlin.
40 yards downfield. James has been ripping off some big throws here since he's gotten in here in the fourth quarter. As you mentioned, player came here as a walk-on, made a name for himself as a special teams player. And starting to see that role expand a little bit. Nice big play downfield.
Grayson James will take the 4-for-4, 168-yard, 42 yards per completion stat line.
Talk about making the most of your time.
Coach, look what I did. As they get a playoff before the 2-minute timeout, James, end zone, touchdown, Dawson Pugh.
Senior to freshman connection, dialing it up again. James just finding Pugh, just gets behind the defense, and a player with short hands, a young player on his team that they're really excited about. Obviously, Lewis Bond back, Reed Harris is big play potential, a really tough matchup. Jaden Skeet, to add, if Pugh can come along really fast, he's only going to help. They've got the weapons. Good wide receiver room led by Lewis Bond, and I love the depth they have in that tight end room, and showing a little bit of depth at quarterback as well. Grayson James checking into the game and getting it done, and once again, Boston College extending their lead as he finds a freshman to know, Dawson Pugh.
Fordham played. Right. Exactly. 70 years, 10 months ago. And a touchback for Fordham. While we have a minute, I want to thank our team that made this broadcast possible today. Our producer, Joe McCoy, who always does a great job at whatever he touches. Our director, Paul Druzniak. Our spotter, Seth Jacobson. Our statistician, Mike Notaro. Our AD, Chris Farrow. The graphics team, Himardo, Seb, Pete, Nick. Great job. Red Hat, Paul Williams. Carl Albanese on official stats today. Everyone who's a part of this team. One of 51 games being broadcast by ESPN in week 1. A huge thank you to everyone who got everything organized for this broadcast and put us in a position to be successful today.
It was great to have you out of the studio for a little bit.
It's great to be with you, Craig, and it's great to touch the product here. Spend a lot of time in studio with our great team back in Bristol.
Like Charlie Camella, just showing your versatility here.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah. And bring a little bit of pressure here. Whether it was early in the game or late in the game, at times, Gunnar Smith, just no time.
Micah Amity was in on that sack on the last play. Here's Ricky Parks as the time winds down here in the fourth quarter on what's been an awfully impressive start for Boston College.
Yeah, year 2 kicking off in fantastic fashion. And again, it's a lot of curiosity. Dylan Lonergan coming over, ESPN 300 prospect in 2023, signed with Alabama, transfers in, and I think he had a really strong showing. I think the real question is, how does the offensive line continue to progress, especially with those 3 losses to the NFL, and where do they find that pass rush production that was lost with Ezaraku moving on to the NFL? But I think a good group of receivers, deep tight end room, a really deep running back room, and an outstanding secondary. The pieces are there as they head into a pretty tough stretch starting with Michigan State, but got a lot of guys on the grass today. a little bit of experience and making a bit of a splash here to start 2025.
And again, the right guy in charge, Bill O'Brien. He's a Massachusetts guy. Of course, he lives here now in Chestnut Hill. His wife, Colleen, a BC grad. I mean, life is good. He had a hole-in-one this summer as well.
A couple of years behind his quarterback, Lonergan, who had one at 7 years old.
Exactly, yeah. But a dynamite start here to year 2 of the Bill O'Brien era. So great to have college football back. And this program made it to the Pinstripe Bowl a season ago and could just be a factor again here in 2025 as the seconds tick down on victory number 1 for Boston College.
BC with their